In just 4 months, less than 120 days, I'm going to be done with high school and off to college. And just looking back at my high school career, especially more towards like these last 2 years, I really think I've been spending more time using and learning how to use AI to help me research and generate ideas for my assignments than actually doing the assignments, which is kind of ironic and kind of funny. And this makes me start thinking about the question which brought you to this video as well. What will I do if AI can do everything that the marketplace wants? And the more I think about it myself, surprisingly, I actually felt more optimistic rather than pessimistic. Because you see, like most people out there would say that AI are killing jobs, but instead, I actually see that it is giving us, the new generation, Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, endless possibilities in what we actually want to do. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what I mean by that and showing you how you can find something that actually aligns with your flow and gives you the deeper joy that you seek. Because what you'll realize is that when you find those things, and you complement with using AI to master that skill or that talent that you have, you'll be able to outcompete or actually do something that creates a bigger impact than someone who solely uses AI but then does not get joy with doing the work. So before that, let me actually tell you a very funny story which I've observed with myself, which you'll then be able to see how I'm able to find the thing that makes me feel most joyful. So flying back to a couple of months ago, I was writing one of my film essay analysis works where I had to watch like an entire film and then write a whole 2,000 word essay on the topic of the film, analyzing all the different shot types, all the cinematography and everything like that. And of course, this sounds annoying, so then the best way you can do is put it all into AI and tell AI to do that, right? But then one thing I've observed with myself is that I was actually using less AI to automate the entire assignment because I actually found it fun watching the film myself and doing the process and going through that thinking. And this might sound pretty crazy because most people out there don't probably like writing academic essays, but then I realized that I actually enjoyed it, even though I know that AI can do the same thing, right? And when I compare that with the things I'm doing for math, for example, and for me personally, I don't really like math, and that's why I like to automate it a lot more with AI and spend less time on it. This kind of shows me that I have this inner joy and inner passion with analysis or something to do with essay writing and writing in general. And then when I look back to this moment and I dive deeper into thinking about why in particular I really liked writing these essays, I start to realize that it's actually something to do with these images and expressing them in words, which I enjoyed a lot. And to me, it feels like I'm completing some kind of puzzle set after I finish writing all of these paragraphs of analysis, because it's just so satisfying to see how I'm able to translate these, film director intentions onto the paper. So anyways, what I ended up finding out was actually the medium of what I actually wanted and loved to do, which is writing itself. So what we're going to do in this video is spend some time creating this list of potential mediums that you may be fascinated with depending on what subjects that you may particularly enjoy in school. So then this can help you get one step closer to figuring out what drives that exact flow state inside of you and really bring this sense of peace and joy when you do it. So to those people who are really having like a hard time academically, this is definitely one aspect and one area where school prepares us pretty well to see what type of medium and what type of vehicle we actually like to work with. So just starting out with probably one of the most objective subject out there, mathematics, which obviously you have the people who are hardcore math nerds or you have the other type of people who just completely not like it, right? So how would you know if you like mathematics or not? You can start thinking about mathematics in general as a knowledge. And when I think about mathematics, I think about the idea of simplicity, right? Are you someone who really likes expressing something into a term or following like a fixed and defined pattern with no subjectivity. And if you think about it, math in general has only one answer, right? When you do 1 plus 1, the only answer you get is 2. Unlike if you do some kind of analysis with humanities or other subjects, you may get multiple different answers. And math is also similar in the nature of science as well. And maybe you're personally like a huge fan of the complexity of mathematics, how you're able to translate the complexity of a situation of like a word problem and then simplify it, and then afterwards you're able to translate it back into a complex medium. So for example, if you're going to solve some kind of word problem, you can simplify it into a function and then represent it later on again as a graph. And to those who have not been doing math for quite a while, apologies if I'm sparking some kind of alerts or some kind of reaction back to, one of your old days when you were cranking your math. But, are you someone who likes the idea of logic, right? Are you someone who really wants to, deduct from one form to another by moving step by step? Are you someone who really likes, like looking through things which are logical and like deriving everything and doing the proofs, right? Or maybe you're someone who really enjoys the mediums of shapes and geometry, and you're super fascinated about learning all kinds of shapes and how it's applied to architecture and the design world, right? Maybe this is the math medium which you're passionate about. So no matter what it is with all of these subjects, what's most important is to find out what exactly or what the nature is which makes you feel that energy, which makes you really feel that fulfillment whenever you tackle those problems. And it really applies to all of the other subjects, which I'm going to be running throughout this video. So the next category of subjects is languages. So this includes, English, or whatever second language you also take in school. And people who might find passion with that may really enjoy the medium of words. And one feeling that you might get was how you really like it. It really satisfies you when specific words comes together. They really create like a beautiful meaning. If you think about poetry in general, like how fascinated you can be with the amount of emotions that the words bring with like a limited amount of words, but then it could spark like millions of pictures in your head, right? And maybe you're fascinated with words having multiple different meanings, or you really enjoy the medium of communication and public speaking. And maybe you really like debating and articulating some kind of message which makes you feel super empowered and makes you feel super passionate about something. And another personal example is the medium of writing itself. Like, do you always find joy in writing reports and looking at these, paragraphs come together? And for me, I know I love doing that because I love like color coding all the paragraphs afterwards and really reading about what I wrote. And it's just really satisfying to see it all laid out on a page. And maybe you enjoy like the medium of discussion, right? For example, I actually took a creative writing class during the summer last year where we had lots of discussion based on the short stories that I read. Maybe it's something to do with collaborating with other people that you really enjoy, right? That can be another medium for you. So then moving on to the science subjects. Some potential mediums that you can find if you really love science is the medium of labs or working on like a hands-on project. Like, are you someone who really likes fiddling with this piece and that piece, making things blow up, or like, playing with Lego or like building robotics? Maybe something that you have to physically interact with makes you feel fulfilled. And maybe it's also the medium of observation, right? Maybe you're someone who really loves to like notice the small little details within this chemical, or notice this, biological mutation or whatever it is, right? And another potential is maybe if you're fascinated with science, you're fascinated with nature in general, right? Those probably are for people who are taking biology or environmental science. Like, you find it super fascinating with learning about living things and in general just being able to interact with them and connect with them on a deeper level. Maybe there's something there, right? That could be a potential medium for you to explore. And then now moving on to the humanities subjects. So these are subjects like, economics, business, global politics, history, and many more out there. And I think one of the big commonalities that you would see with humanities is the medium of stories. Like, are you someone who really loves storytelling? And maybe you're someone who remembers a lot of historical events and how they affect like this factor and leads to that factor, right? Like World War II and Hitler and everything like that. And what you will do is tell all of these stories to your friends all the time. So then you really enjoy the medium of storytelling. And another potential medium is the medium of gathering information from multiple different sources and really synthesizing them together based on different interpretations. And you can see this with academic analysis in general, right? Do you like reading research papers, or do you like in general like looking in different areas? For example, I really like research myself. Like I would watch videos on this and then read articles on this and then put them all together in one little tight box and then I can understand it myself. Like, do you really like that process? And part of that process is also being a detective, right? Do you like solving mysteries? Do you like playing these games? And do you like, figuring out clues over here and clues over there and piecing them together? Are you someone who really likes learning about the larger picture? I mean, that could be a potential medium as well. And those right there are just examples of just quick mediums which I've thought, which you can easily find yourself as well, as long as you're more self-aware of the processes that makes you feel joyful. So for example, like just start observing, start noticing things that makes you feel joyful and what is included within them, right? Like other examples include like playing with your mind, right? Are you someone who really likes to think a lot? Or maybe you're someone who loves to use your body, like people like athletes. Or do you like interacting with paint, people like artists? Or maybe sounds like musicians, pictures or moving pictures, pixels, code, large group of people, institutions, right? Or maybe you like reading pages, bones for archaeologists, and fiddling with Lego, music, right? And really the list goes on and on. So just start to get a good sense of which medium gives you that fulfillment, so then you can look deeper into that and figure out and build your life purpose around that. So just to give you more of an idea of mediums, let me give you some personal examples and some personal stories. And one thing that I've noticed since I was young was that I really loved colorful pictures for some reason. And by colorful pictures, I mean I really love things that have all types of colors, and particularly like the rainbow colors. Like whenever I saw a rainbow in the sky, or if it's like a rainbow colored book cover, I would get super energetic and super hyped up for some reason. And this eventually translated to me collecting cards and really running my first football card business in the beginning, because I was really fascinated with all of these colors and I just treated it like an artwork, right? There's something fascinating about pictures in general. And what you'll see is that sometimes it doesn't matter why you're attracted to it, but then as long as you know what it is, then you could translate it elsewhere to your life and really recreate that inner child that you have, right? And how else have I translated it? Like moving forward, when I was also running my agency business, or when I'm running this YouTube channel as well, one of the things when I'm creating scripts or when I'm creating campaigns in the past was I really love to use like a Notion workspace where I would color code everything and I'll have emojis everywhere because that makes me feel energetic and productive. So then you can see how by being aware that you're someone who really loves colors, you can easily translate that to whatever thing that you're going to be doing. So then this can give you like the energy and gives you the right environment and mindset for you to be more productive and be more effective with whatever work you're trying to do. And another thing that I found myself super interested in learning is actually human behavior, and specifically what drives people to do certain things. And I think a really key example was I actually started self-studying economics class during my junior year because I realized that I actually enjoyed that class, but then it was too late to switch classes. So I decided to teach myself everything from the entire unit and really run through all of the tests and get all the knowledge drilled in, because I was just fascinated with how the supply demand graphs worked and fascinated with how people reacted to this change and that change. And that also explained my interest and passion with psychology in general, with self-actualization, with this whole entire channel, right? Understanding how we can maximize our lives and really build a life around alignment. And the reason why I was able to successfully start all of these different projects and find success here and there, for example, scaling my business, my agency to 5 figures monthly and creating a podcast connecting so many founders around the world, is because I actually enjoy what I'm doing. And because it didn't feel like work to me, It just felt like it's just part of my life. Like it's something that I'm naturally here to do, and it's something that I treat as play, right? And that's what we're trying to find here. And one of the big things when it comes to finding your medium is that if you're still like, on the edge of something, or if you're still like stuck with what your actual medium is, one of the easiest and most obvious solutions that you'll probably like close this video after I tell you is that you should just test it out, right? This is the beauty of life, and this is the beauty of being a teenager, is that we're granted the gift of time. And the problem with most people is that we don't utilize that time well enough, right? We waste that time on petty human bullshit, right? We waste that time like looking at other people and comparing ourselves to others, and like watching the news and consuming this and consuming that without intention. And then over time you realize that you've tried nothing, right? But then if you use it more wisely and in ways where you're more intentional, and you actually, go down a list of things that you want to try and eliminate the things that does not work for you, eventually the medium will reveal itself. Like there's no way for someone who's been living their entire childhood testing out like all of the different sports or all of the different kinds of businesses, will they not be able to find out which one resonates best with them? Because there is something out there, and all you need to do is just let yourself be and discover that, right? And this is a big mistake that you'll see around you, is that when AI right now is taking over the world, people are just becoming more detached to yourself by being stuck in these loops of social media, right? By being stuck in these things that do not align with their purpose. So how do we actually become more attached to ourselves? And how do we actually start aligning ourselves to our higher being and the person that we are on the inside? And really the answer is only to look inwards, because by turning inwards and by giving ourselves time in solitude, which means we journal and we contemplate every so often, only then are we able to see what's authentic and not what others are expecting us to do, and all of these masks that we're wearing in our everyday lives. One big thing that I've also noticed when you actually commit to this journey of testing different things is you might get some resistance to do the correct thing, and you start to overanalyze everything, and you start to, having to reason this and reason that on like why you're taking this step, why you're doing that step. But one of the biggest wisdoms and biggest insights that I've gained over the years is realizing that you just got to get started. Because what's going to happen is that there's no such thing as a correct action. And once you do something, it will lead you to another place that you'll not expect. And that might lead you closer to what you're actually finding. Like, what do I mean by that? For example, if you're feeling hesitant on whether or not, let's just say, calligraphy is right for you, what you can do is enroll in a calligraphy class, so then that gets you committed into doing the thing. Because a lot of the time, most of us, we want to do something, but we're not committed to it. So then after you go to several calligraphy classes, then maybe, even though calligraphy may not be the right thing, you start to discover, oh, this person from my calligraphy class mentioned something interesting. Maybe I should explore that. And then you jump to the next thing, right? And over time, once you go through this process, you'll start to realize that you're going to be able to get closer to the vision and the goal that you have of finding this medium that aligns with yourself. So, whatever you've been holding on to, whatever idea that you have, whatever you feel like doing, really, it's just Nike's quote, right? It's just Nike's mantra, which is just do it. And you'll be surprised what doors and what places this small little action of just doing will lead you to. So I hope you found this video helpful, because once you start to realize that life is all about trial and error, you'll start to actually take more responsibility and move to places which gives you more fulfillment. So that's it from me for today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.